Hey everybody, this is Miss Emily. Once again, I'll be walking through this study guide with you. I'm going to try and move pretty quick, so feel free to pause the video and catch your breath. And if you have any additional questions, I'll be available in the morning. So the first one is solve the following equation for b. So I want to manipulate this equation to get b by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3 from both sides. These cancel, and I have a plus b over 2 equals 5 minus 3, which is 2. And then I'm working to get b by itself. So first I need to get a plus b by itself. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. These cancel, and I have a plus b equals 4. Okay, so I'm running out of room on this first line, so I'm just going to draw an arrow to show that I'm moving up here, and you can do the same thing if you run out of room on your quiz. Okay, so a plus b equals 4. I'm looking for b, so I want to get a on the other side, so I'm going to subtract a from both sides. These cancel. I have b equals 4 minus a. I'm not going to combine these because 4 does not have an a variable attached to it, so they're not like terms, so I'm not even going to try and combine them. So I get a equals 4, or b equals 4 minus a. Okay. And we were looking for b, so it's enough to say that. Okay, now solve for a equals 1/2 NaL for n. Okay, so I'm looking for n, and I have a equals 1/2 NaL. So I want to get n by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is try and get rid of that 1/2. So we can divide either side by 1/2, but dividing by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by 2, since 2 is the reciprocal of 1/2. So I'm going to say 2a equals NaL. And the understood operation here is multiplication, so these are being multiplied. Now I want to get n by itself. I could get rid of a by dividing either side by lowercase a, or I could get rid of L by dividing both sides by L. But they're all being multiplied together, so there's no harm in doing it all at once. So now I'm going to divide both sides by AL. So these A's cancel, these L's cancel. I'm left with N on this side. So N equals 2 capital A. 2 capital A over lowercase a L. Okay, and the question was to find n, so that's our answer. Okay, moving on to one-step, multi-step equations. How many solutions? So remember that there can be one solution, or there can be no solution, or there can be infinite solutions. So we need to figure out which one it is, and if there's one solution, we need to show what that solution is. So I have 2 times parentheses x plus 5, so I know I'm going to distribute the 2. So 2x plus 2 times 5, which is 10, plus 6x minus 2. And then over here, I am also going to distribute this 8. So that's 8x plus 8 times 1, which is 8. Okay, and I'm looking to get x by itself if there is one solution. So I need to combine like terms. I see 2x, positive 6x. I'm not going to circle this 8x because it's on the other side of the equal sign. So make sure that you're not combining terms that are on opposite sides. So 2x and 6x is going to give me 8x. And then positive 10 and negative 2 can also be combined. So 10 minus 2 is 8, positive 8. And then just bring down 8x plus 8, which we've already found on the other side. Okay, so we have 8x plus 8 equals 8x plus 8. Already I know that this is always true because they're exactly the same on either side. But if you want to go a step further, you can subtract 8 from both sides. And then you can subtract 8x from both sides. And when they cancel, when we draw this line through them, it's understood that it leaves us with 0. So that's 0x because I'm subtracting, I'm subtracting 8x from 8x, which gives me 0x. And then over here on this side, I'm subtracting 8 from 8, which gives me 0. Okay, so 0x equals 0. And this is always true because any x that we put in, any x that is multiplied by 0 will give us 0. We just know that it's always the case that if you multiply a 0 by a number, you get 0. So if it's always true, we say there's infinite solutions. Okay. So how many solutions for this one? Again, I'm going to distribute 3x plus 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1 equals negative 3 plus 7. Okay, so I can combine 6 and 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, so this one is a little bit tricky because it says 3x plus 7 equals negative 3x plus 7. And it might look tempting at this point to say that there are infinite solutions because each side is exactly the same. But each side is not exactly the same because we have a positive 3 on one side and a negative 3 on the other side. So we're just going to proceed as if they are not the same. So subtract 7 from both sides. Both of them cancel. And we have 3x equals negative 3x. And in general, we want to get all the terms that have x on one side and all the terms that don't on the other side. So in this case, when we subtracted 7 from both sides, it happened to cancel on both sides and not just one. So when we say cancel, we mean plus 0. So I'm just going to put that for clarity. And now we want to get everything with x on one side. I'm going to choose this one because I'd rather add than subtract, but either way. So these cancel. And then 3x plus 3x is 6x. So now we have 6x equals 0. So what times 6 is going to give me 0? 0 times anything is 0. Or we can work it out like normal. So come up here. 6x equals 0. I want to get x by itself, so I divide both sides by 6. These cancel. X equals 0 divided by 6, which we know is just 0. Okay? So x equals 0, which means there is one solution. Alright, so this one I'm going to go about it the same way. I'm going to distribute this. So 4m minus 4 times 5 halves. So I'm going to distribute the 4 to the 5. So 4 times 5 is 20 over 2. Distribute this as well. Don't forget the equal sign. 2 times 2m is 4m. And then 2 times a half is 1. You can look at it as 2 being divided by 2, which gives you 1. Or you can think, what is half of 2? And that is also 1. Bring down the negative 9. Okay, so now I have 4m minus 20 over 2 equals 4m plus 1 minus 9. So 20 over 2 I know is 10. So we have 4m minus 10. Don't forget to bring the sign with it. Equals 4m. Okay, so 1 minus 9. Be careful here because it might be tempting to say, oh, 1 minus 9 is negative 10, because I want these sides to be the same so that I can say there's infinite solutions. Well, don't rush through it, because that's a positive 1 and a negative 9. So when you combine them, you get negative 8. Okay, so just be careful with the signs. Make sure that you're taking your time with it. So 4m minus 10 equals 4m minus 8. Alright, so I want to get all things with m on one side and all things without m on the other side. I'm going to start by subtracting 4m from both sides. But as we see, they both cancel. Okay, so that's understood to be 0. We're left with negative 10 equals negative 8. Well, I know that that's never true. And so there's no solution. I like to put this little dash through the equal sign just to show that I know it's not true, even though that's what we got when we worked the equation out. Okay, moving on to a triangle question. Find the value of x and use it to find the angle measures for angle A, angle B, and angle C. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to use is the fact that if you add all these angles up, you get 180 degrees. Okay, this should say degrees, this should say degrees. So A plus B plus C equals 180 degrees. I know that A is x. I know that B is x plus 25 degrees. And I know that C is x plus 35 degrees. And then I'm just bringing down the 180. So what I want to do is combine like terms. I have x, x, and x. When you add them all up, it gives you 3x. And then I also have 25 degrees and 35 degrees. Okay, that's going to give me 60. And once again, this equals 180. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract 60 degrees from both sides. These cancel. 3x equals 180 minus 60, which is 120 degrees. And now to get x by itself, divide both sides by 3. I know that 3 goes into 12 4 times, so 3 is going to go into 120 40 times. So x equals 40 degrees. Okay, but that's not the answer, because they're asking me what is the measure of angle A, angle B, and angle C. So now I'm going to come over here. Angle A, which we know is x, equals 40 degrees. That's what we just found. Angle B equals x plus 25 degrees. Plug in 40 for x, which is 40 plus 25 degrees. So that is 65 degrees. And then angle C, we know equals x plus 35 degrees. Plug in 40 for x. And that's 75 degrees. Okay, so original fact was that a plus b plus c gives you 180. So in order to check that we did our work right, we will add up what we said a, b, and c were, which was 40, 65, and 75. So to double check, make sure that 40 plus 65 plus 75 equals 180. And it does, so you know that you did it right. Okay, write an equation that models the following word problems. So a new 1-year membership at RecPlex costs $150. A registration fee of $45 is paid up front, and the rest is paid monthly. How much do new members pay each month? So, gonna highlight 1-year membership. That means, oops. One year is 12 months. Okay, I'm gonna highlight $150. That's the total cost, so it costs $150. So that's our total. Registration fee of $45 is paid up front. Paid up front lets me know that I'm going to pay it one time and be done with it. They're not going to charge me that every month. And so this is our constant. Okay, the rest is paid monthly. How much do new members pay each month? So look at what the question is asking you. How much do new members pay each month? So that's what we don't know. That's going to be our variable. I'm going to call it M. M is how much new members pay each month. So cost per month. Okay, so now I think I have all the information I need. The total was 150. And that equals, okay, wait. We did not identify the rate, although we did write it. So 12 months is the rate because M is the cost per month. And how often are you paying that? 12 months in a year. So this is our rate. Okay, so we want to do our rate times our variable. So that's 12M, and then plus our constant, which is 45. Okay, so now to get M by itself, I'm going to subtract 45 from both sides. This cancels. 150 minus 45 is 105. I'm going to come over here. Now to get M by itself, I see this is multiplication. I'm going to undo it with division. Divide both sides by 12. That cancels. So M equals 105 divided by 12, which is 8.75. So $8.75 is what new members pay each month. So don't just write this on your paper like I'm leaving it as, but listen to what I'm saying and write it out as a sentence. In this case, the sentence would be, new members pay $8.75 per month. Okay, that's the complete answer because you're putting it back into the context of the problem. If you just say m equals 8.75, nobody knows what you're talking about because they can't see the work that you've done. You called m the cost per month. That was just for you to figure it out. Now you've got to put it back in the context and let the person who's asking you this know how much new members pay each month. Okay, so at the very least, you need to write $8.75. So I know it's money, but if you want extra kudos on the quiz, write it as a sentence, and we may throw some bonus points your way. Okay, Sandra scores 4 baskets in her first basketball game. So that's 4. That's constant because she's only scoring that in her first game. That's not over and over again. So I know that's constant. She then scored the same number of baskets in each of her next 3 games. So 3 games, we don't know how many baskets she scored. It just says the same number. Okay, so that's a variable. I'm going to call it B. In the next 3 games, okay, so 3. If Sandra made 19 baskets total, okay, there's our total, then how many baskets did she score in each of the 3 games? So how many baskets she scored in each of the 3 games is B. So you need to write out on your paper what B represents. And then the total is 19 equals 4 plus she plays 3 games where she scores B baskets. So you could jump and write 3B, or you can say she made B, then she made B, then she made B. Okay, so then this is 19 equals 4 plus 3B. Subtract 4 from both sides. Then this is 15 equals 3B. We want B by itself. We divide both sides by 3. Then we get B equals 15 over 3, which is 5. But what does 5 represent? It represents how many baskets she scored in each of the 3 games. So you could write B equals 5 baskets. But again, if you want to demonstrate that you really understand this and maybe get some extra points on the quiz, then you would write Sandra made 5 baskets in each of her 3 games. Yeah, so that is it in sentence form, and that lets me know that you really understand what it means in the context of the problem. All right, lastly, this week, Jamira spent a total of 100 minutes studying. This total was 8 more than 4 times the amount of minutes she studied last week. How many minutes did Jamira spend studying last week? Okay, so this is using skills from the last quiz on how translating phrases into expressions. That skill will come in handy because we have 8 more than 4 times the amount of minutes she studied last week. So we're going to call the amount of minutes she studied last week M, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, so this is M, and she spent a total of 100 minutes studying, so 100 is our total. 100 equals 8 more than 4 times the amount of minutes. So more than shows me it's addition. 4 times, that's multiplication. The amount of minutes she studied last week was M. Okay, now we're just solving this for M. So subtract 8 from both sides. Then 100 minus 8 is 92. So 92 equals 4m. Divide both sides by 4. Then m equals 23. Okay, so 23 minutes. Studying last week. So again, as a sentence, Jamira spent 23 minutes studying last week. Okay, so that's what I want to see on your paper. Jamira spent 23 minutes studying last week. All right, cool. That's it from me. Good luck on your quiz.